Hello, loud thinkers, and thank you for tuning in with me, Himani, on letsthinkaloud.com. Avant Theatre celebrates Quarters, a theatrical extravaganza celebrating SG50. Now, this play aims to take us back in time in the 1970s of Singapore, where we relive the days when an environment was predominantly making way for a multicultural Singapore. This is happening on June 19th and 20th, 2015, 7:30 p.m. at the Victoria Theatre. It's a Tamil, Malay, Hokkien play with English subtitles. So basically, you absolutely have no reason to not go and experience this. Directed by G. Selva. Right now joining me on letsthinkaloud.com is Mr. Raj, General Manager of Avant Theatre. Hi Raj, and thank you for joining us on letsthinkaloud.com.
Hi Himani, and thanks for having me here.
Great. So tell us very briefly and quickly, because I'm really dying to know, what is Quarters?
Okay, Quarters was basically back before the HDB housing system for statutory board workers like PUB, railways and all that. They had these staff quarters allocated for the families of these workers. So back then, this was the predominant housing system for most of the people in Singapore. And even till today, we have still many pioneers and many of our fathers or mothers or elders who have actually lived in those times. So that is basically what Quarters is. And this play specifically it explores certain stories and certain incidents that we wanted to capture about how a multicultural, multiracial society was formed in this kind of housings back then.
So, what's so special about the 70s era? Of course, the things that you mentioned and you have chosen, but for some of us who weren't around in Singapore at that time, would be good to know that what are some of the highlights of that period that you plan to cover in Quarters?
In particular for the 70s, is because Singapore was still relatively a young nation. We only got independence back in 65. So back in the 70s, many things were still new. The country was still growing economically, politically, and socially. So it's about how a young nation is rising in these early times. So the 70s is such a great period to explore, because that's when many people were getting used to the idea of living in a multicultural society, because before this the different communities used to live separately. So it was during these times they're getting used to the idea, the neighbors are becoming friendlier with one another, and they are all quite excited about the nation's progress at that time. So which is why in particular for this play we were celebrating the National Day back in 75 in the context of the plays, because back then people were still excited and curious about how such a young nation was going to evolve itself and become the leading city that it is today. So
Absolutely.
I think that was such an exciting time to explore for us.
Brilliant. I saw your poster image of the play, and you do have a huge ensemble cast. So are they all trained actors, or how did you bring together such a huge cast?
The cast, we have about 30 odd over artists on stage. So it wasn't such an easy task, to get all these number of actors to be there for every rehearsals, to put together a whole play together. And as for the actors themselves, some of them are actually veteran artists who have had so many years of experience both on stage and TV, and some of them are quite famous, especially among the Indian community. And most of the rest are amateurs and actually even some new faces who actually came from our workshops in the last 2 years and who are making their acting debut. So it's a very exciting mix of the young and the old and experienced and the new artists, and and they're all interacting and working together to put forward such a great production. So it's great to see the artists working together as a team, especially for this.
Lovely. Is there any one thing that you think that the audience or people tuned in right now must know, and that they should come to the theatre to watch this production for?
I think especially with regards to the younger generation nowadays, with all these privileges and all the things that we sometimes take for granted, we tend not to know what our parents or our grandparents used to be like, what kind of times that they lived in, and back then, especially for this day, times were much simpler. People were just happy to get along with one another and just do the simple things in life. So I think it's a great lesson for the especially the younger people who have not even heard of perhaps such housings back then, to know what some of their older family members might have gone through, and and what they can take from these stories and these experiences that we are about to share on this stage.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Mr. Raj. Always looking forward to productions from Avant Theatre, and totally looking forward to this one as well. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you.